Hello everyone, my name is Brad, and today I'm going to share with you a short story that happened to me during the last semester. So, like most of you last semester, I have the course which is Oral Training 1. And for the final exam of that class, we are required to give a speech for a total of 10 minutes. And we get to present it with a partner, so I have to prepare something around 5 minutes. And for the speech, we cannot use the PowerPoint to support us, and we also cannot uh, look at the script as it is a very formal speech. So, after beginning the preparation quite late for my speech, several problems began to happen. I started noticing several problems. When I finally built up the broad outline of my speech, I realized that I have left very little time for the script revision, the script memorizing, any other further possible adjustments. It was also at the end of the semester, so there are also other pressures coming from other classes. For example, I was also working on a report for the writing and reading class. So I thought to myself, I have to make the most out of this very limited and precious time. And after considering what I should focus on first and focus on lastly, I decided to use the time most in making the content as abundant and detailed as possible. But in doing so, it also means that I have to put the emphasis on the actual speech presenting, and the memorization of the speech lastly. And I wasn't sure why I did so. Looking back, I can only assume that I was too cocky for my own good. I thought that perhaps through the writing and the research, everything that I wrote would ultimately be stuck in my head. Or at least memorizing the script wouldn't be that much of a task. And even till this day, I feel like it should be that way. But only if I had better time management, of course. It's something that I did not have in the last semester. So all the finals from other classes hit me pretty hard, kind of overwhelmed me, and my overloaded small brain just was not able to memorize the script in time. And to deal with this problem, I decided to write down every little bit of my speech down on small note cards. And you might say that, hey, that's just cheating. But actually, our oral training teacher allowed us to bring these small note cards up to a stage to help with the speech. But the note card, according to a teacher, if I recall correctly, should only consist of a few key words to help us with the general direction of the speech in case we forget where we are at. And it shouldn't be an entire script, but I think I forget about that at that time. So here comes the big day for the speech. When I walked in the classroom, I saw everybody busy memorizing and going over the speech again and again. And even though I was having a mixed feeling of guilty and ease, I was quite relaxed, despite everyone being so intense and nervous. But before going to the part where I finally gave my speech, there's something that I have to mention first. Throughout the semester, I have noticed something interesting about our teacher. Is that when someone is giving a speech, there are chances that he will not look at the speaker at all, or just look at the speaker very briefly, like at the start, the beginning of the talk. And you may wonder, what's he doing if he's not looking at the speaker? Well, sometimes he will just be looking at his phone, perhaps too caught up in a timer, or perhaps he's just grading our score as he's listening to our speech without looking at us. But what he's really doing did not matter to me at all. What's important is that it is a great opportunity for me to make big plays for the exam, for the finals. Now back to the big day. The speech. When I was on stage and was beginning to give my speech, the teacher looked at me right in the eyes. But that was alright, I thought to myself. I have at least memorized the first few paragraphs. So I began speaking with this unrealistic confidence. And as I went on, I began getting to the parts where I was unfamiliar with. But just as I was about to get my cards out and begin reading out what I have previously written down, I noticed something. It was the golden opportunity that I seeked. The teacher has looked away from me and was looking at his phone. So I quickly snapped out my cards and read them out card by card. In doing so, I couldn't help but laugh and laughed out quietly at how silly this was. This was supposed to be a speech, and I was out there reading like it's nothing. And our teacher never once looked up. I believe that he thought that I memorized everything, even though I clearly did not. Overall, I would say that this was a weird but successful speech. I also feel really bad because I didn't put in the effort like everybody else did. And when my friend did not do well, I feel extremely bad. All in all, this was just a little short speech that I wanted to share. And I hope that you can learn a few valuable lessons from this. Like, don't pile up your work so that you get into these awkward situations. And also be observative for opportunities that's just hiding around the corner but it's actually in plain sight. Okay, so that's all for my talk.